Hello, everybody. My name is Ayanda Mdluli. Welcome to another Daily News exclusive with Mr. Sandile Zungu, a leading businessman from KZN and chairperson of Amazulu. Welcome to our exclusive interview, sir.
Thank you so much, Babu Mdluli, and thank you to Daily News for the interest in the subject matter.
For sure, for sure. So looking at your background as a business person, as someone who's been involved in leadership roles with the Black Business Council, and now you're running Amazulu, which is the oldest football club in the country. Um, they say now you are going into the political space. Can you just tell us why you're venturing into that space?
Well, in my young life, I've seen very blurred lines between business, politics, and societal issues. It's very difficult for a person with a conscientious mind to just say, I want to stick to this business lane and I've got no interest on matters societal. I've got no interest in matters governance or politics. It's very difficult. I've tried to remain on my lane, and you become very anxious when you see things not going right, when you see things being mismanaged, and I say, but I can do better here. I can assist. And hence I've always remained very interested in matters political.
Can you just maybe highlight for us what is your vision for KwaZulu-Natal?
Now, it really bothers me when you know that under these bridges, about 3,000 young boys and girls who hooked onto Wunga and drugs live. How can we condemn a society, a significant part of our society, into non-contributors, into nothingness? When we as the ANC have given ourselves the responsibility of being a leader of society, we ought to change that. It bothers me when I see millions of young graduates and millions of young people without skills join the ranks of the unemployed without much hope that they will find a job. And when I know that actually the economy is not creating jobs, and when at the same time, right here in KwaZulu-Natal, you have refineries like Sapref, like Engine, closing down operations, and with an immediate impact on thousands of jobs in those refineries, with immediate impact on communities around, with immediate impact on downstream industries. In terms of job opportunities lost, and in terms of the industrial capacity of the KwaZulu-Natal economy being eroded, and without us having a response to it. So my view is, number one, we've got to re-industrialize the economy, or bring back the industrial capacity in the economy. It's a low-hanging fruit. You don't have to think too deep. Just have to say the ANC is an activist organization, is a campaigning organization that leads those campaigns to ensure that our economic capacity is not devoid of industrial capacity. Number two, KwaZulu-Natal has become like a basket case. It's becoming a basket case under our noses. Of course, some of this derives from the acts of God, the floods. But if there was proper political leadership, the impact of these floods would have been minimized. If there was proper political leadership, you will ensure that the developments around Woodwood are structured properly, such that when there is a flooding, those sands which are not protected would not have just fell on people's homes like an avalanche, like it has happened. Let alone those who have built human settlements below flood lines in areas like the Waters Hill, for example, and other areas of Ethekwini. We've got to bring back the dignity in KwaZulu-Natal. We've got to be proud to be a citizen of KwaZulu-Natal. How so? By ensuring that this structure, ANC as a leader of society, is at the forefront of engaging with communities that move your settlements where there will be flooding, but at the same time ensuring that there is properties or there's land made available for the building of decent human settlements so that people's dignity can be brought back.
Yeah. You are coming into the ANC while it's the ANC itself that's largely responsible for the offloading of these state assets. Now, what are you going to do differently if you are given that opportunity?
Well, first of all, I believe in the ANC. That must be made very clear. I come from the ANC school of thought.
Yeah.
I know nowadays there are so many options. You could join any political party of your choice. You could even consider standing in as an independent. And if you are confident that people can buy into your message, you can actually become even the premier of KwaZulu-Natal without belonging to any of these dominant political parties. Fair enough. But I believe in the ANC. And I believe that it still remains the single most potent weapon they have to take our people forward. We've had many missteps as the ANC. We continue to shoot ourselves in our feet. We continue to misgovern, but it can be corrected. And if we focus on KwaZulu-Natal, it is my belief that the ANC must go back to becoming an activist and a campaigning organization. Notwithstanding the fact that we are a governing party in government, but we can challenge ourselves, those that have been deployed in government, by pumping up for where campaigns need to be had. It is my honest belief that it is the ANC that must be campaigning and marching to suppress and say, you shall keep those refineries that refinery working. If it means sending a delegation to Holland, to Shell, if it means sending a delegation to UK, to BP, if it means sending a delegation to National Treasury, if it is about subsidies or clean fuels issues, let it be. But the ANC must be at the forefront of it because we need to save these jobs, we need to save downstream industries. The ANC leadership in KwaZulu-Natal, when a matter is discussed at the ANC, it's not good to say ANC is a centrist organization and therefore to shut your own mouth. Protect your own territory. It is not right that the headquarters of Transnet Ports Authority or operations are moved to Eastern Cape, away from KwaZulu-Natal. Yes, we want to see Eastern Cape develop, but to the extent that agency issues arise, it is leadership of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal who must stand up for their own people in the province.
What are your thoughts on that and the current situation where we find ourselves, as at loggerheads with the banks for what some may call is racial discrimination against people who want to participate in the economy?
Well, let's talk about the nature of the banking industry. I really believe that there's over concentration in banking in South Africa. I won't call it an oligopolistic kind of industry. It's not a monopoly either, but you've got four dominant players in the banking space, which is Standard, Nedbank, the First Rand of FNB, and
ABSA.
They they are obviously the strength of these banks at the worst of times have helped to almost like preserve, if not restore, the credibility of the financial services sector in this country at the worst of times. You would have seen some other emerging economies, have their banking sector eroded simply because they were too diversified and were not made the dominant players in the space. But at the best of times, all they want to do is to advance capital to the government sector. They all want to fund bonds to ESCOM and the Transnet and the rest, was what one will call easy money. Banking the unbanked is not their major preoccupation. And therefore, there are many people here who are unbanked, who are at the mercy of unscrupulous micro lenders because they've got no access to capital otherwise. And at the worst of time, you will have seen lending practices that are very suspicious in terms of who they lend to, and therefore the accusations of white people get easy access to capital, and black entrepreneurs find it very difficult to access capital. Those accusations have a certain measure of credibility, and accusations such that those who are seen as politically exposed, if you are black, your bank accounts get closed, or your bank accounts get overly scrutinized and monitored in terms of what transactions they are. And if you are white, with the same kind of trait, you are given a much better and a freer passage. And there are examples that can be set. Sure. Large corporations were caught with their hands in the jar, as it were, in terms of their dealings with the state. Will have given a slap in the head, in the wrist, to say that no, but continue operating. And those who are black are given a run for it, ad infinitum. So there's an element of racist behavior in the banking sector which warrants scrutiny and which warrants criticism.